Nutritional science has a tendency to examine macronutrients in isolation, debating the merits of protein, fat, and carbohydrate as if each operates independently of the others. The traditional Greenlandic diet disrupts that framework in a particularly instructive way. Fat, in that dietary context, served a function beyond energy provision. It performed a specific metabolic role that is underappreciated in modern dietary discussions. It spared protein from being burned as fuel. To understand this, consider what happens in the absence of adequate dietary fat. If the body's energy needs are not met by fat or carbohydrate, protein steps in as a fuel source through gluconeogenesis, the conversion of amino acids to glucose. This is a functional adaptation, but it comes at a cost. Amino acids used for energy are not available for the primary purposes protein serves: building and repairing muscle tissue, producing enzymes and hormones, supporting immune function, and maintaining structural integrity throughout the body. When protein must be used for energy, these essential functions are compromised. The Inuit understanding of this principle was deeply practical rather than theoretical. Arctic hunters and their communities knew that survival on lean meat alone, protein without adequate fat, would eventually kill. This was not abstract knowledge. Expeditions that ran out of fat-bearing animals or that consumed lean rabbit or hare without supplemental fat experienced the condition now known as rabbit starvation or protein poisoning: progressive nausea, diarrhea, weakness, and, in extreme cases, death, even when caloric intake from proteins seemed sufficient. The solution was always fatty game. Fat preserved the protein's ability to do what protein is actually for. In modern nutritional contexts, the protein-sparing principle has important applications that extend well beyond extreme Arctic scenarios. During caloric restriction for weight loss, adequate dietary fat alongside protein is what distinguishes a body composition-preserving protocol from one that burns as much muscle as fat. Athletes in heavy training are particularly vulnerable to amino acid depletion when fat intake drops too low relative to training volume. Aging individuals facing sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle mass with age, benefit meaningfully from ensuring that protein is used for tissue maintenance rather than energy production. The warning for contemporary readers is directed primarily at low-fat, high-protein dietary patterns that have gained traction in fitness communities. Very lean, high-protein eating, particularly in caloric deficit, places exactly the kind of metabolic pressure on amino acid utilization that the Inuit diet was structured to avoid. The fixation on lean protein sources to the exclusion of fat is not metabolically rational. Pairing quality proteins with adequate fat, fatty fish, eggs with their yolks, meat with its natural fat content, better honors the metabolic logic that kept Arctic populations functional and lean-tissued in a challenging environment. Nature included fat with protein in almost every whole food source. That is not an accident worth overriding.